Hello, everyone. So, the story we were talking about yesterday about the mysterious U.S. military plane landing in Moscow has now been explained. And again, I don't like any of this. So, in the past, many times, I have expressed my disappointment and outrage, backed by a lot of people, that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner had visited Moscow numerous times while U.S. was trying to play peacemaker between Russia and Ukraine, but had never visited Kyiv. While in Moscow, they treated it like some kind of a big party. They showed where they went to eat. They showed partying and drinking. So, I mean, this was very Soviet. This is how foreign dignitaries were courted during the Soviet times. So, and of course, it was not of any benefit to Ukraine. So to me, this is just the variation on the theme. Apparently, we now know that the CIA director, John Ratcliffe, had flown to Russia for talks, and we do not know what the agenda was. So, why is it a problem? Here's why. So we know that he talked to Russian intelligence agencies in Moscow, and this was followed by his reaching out to Ukraine and asking Ukraine not to target Moscow and St. Petersburg. I'm sorry, did the war suddenly end? Did Kremlin stop targeting Kyiv and other Ukrainian cities? Why should Ukraine stop targeting key Russian military targets just because they happen to be located in Moscow and St. Petersburg? It's not Ukraine's fault that Russia decided to put their military targets there, that both Moscow and St. Petersburg are conglomerates of industry, including military-industrial complex. Also, why does Ukraine have to make concessions? Based on what? What does Ukraine get in return? So, again, this is just the U.S. or the current U.S. administration continuing to play footsie with Russia, hoping to get that feather in their cap and distract people from the Epstein files, from the rising cost of living, from the healthcare crisis, and from the never-ending now war in Iran, which actually looks very similar like Putin's war in Ukraine. Some idiot had an itch he had to scratch, blundered into another country, and now doesn't know how to get out. This I don't know how I feel about. So Zelensky awarded Elon Musk the high state honor, the Medal of Freedom, the Order of Freedom, for his contributions to the war effort in Ukraine, primarily for letting Ukraine use Starlink. Now, this comes on the heels of the conversation that Zelensky had with Elon Musk, asking permission to use Starlink as a guidance system for Ukrainian drones and other weapons while on Russian territory. So, I am wondering if he actually managed to get him to agree. We don't know yet, but tit for tat, it is possible that this reward, this medal, is for that. I despise Elon Musk from the bottom of my heart. I do not think any single man on earth should have this much money and power focused in his hands. And my concern is that if Russia comes with a higher offer, if something happens in Ukraine that pisses off Elon Musk, he can turn all of that off. That is my concern. And I know that there are analysts in the United States, national security specialists, who agree with me, who have been saying that Starlink should be taken away from Elon Musk's private control. It should not be controlled by just one man, because that is a huge global security issue. And it is now a global security issue for Ukraine as well, just like everyone else. Also, we are now hearing reports that a small batch of Patriots arrive to Ukraine. Now, Zelensky is still pleading for more, because remember, the attacks don't stop. That shit continues daily. People are targeted daily. That is not going anywhere. He's not saying how many, which I don't blame him for. We do not want to disclose to the enemy what we've got. They don't need to know that. And there has been a confirmation of future supplies of the French Hotel surface-to-air missiles. And so, that is a good thing. Zelensky did say, and I mentioned this, that Ukraine needs 5% of Ukraine Patriot production to meet their needs. But so far, it has only been receiving 1%. And again, there is a concern that the U.S. stockpile is being depleted by the war in Iran. Meanwhile, Russia is set to extend its diesel export ban through September. They continue experiencing severe fuel shortages and importing from India. They cannot export jet fuel right now, not until the end of November 2026. And in addition to all of this, the existing problems, Ukraine had struck another oil refinery. This is a Afipsky oil refinery in the Krasnodar region. That happened overnight, last night. So there was another fire, and here's the thing. Here's what we know. We have satellite imagery and eyewitness information that the oil refinery has been struck. The problem is with a lot of these is that we don't know the extent of the damage until much later. So, in the best possible scenario, the refinery is incapacitated, which we already know Ukraine is capable of. They have incapacitated other refineries in Russia. The worst case scenario is just a fire that burns some stock and the refinery can be brought back to operations. It's still, a worthy target. It is still a worthy hit, but that makes a big difference. And there's a report circulating about Bradley Townsend, a 33-year-old fisherman from the United Kingdom, who died fighting for Russia. And my question is why? Why did he go there? Why? Yeah, people who are saying that this has been unbelievably stupid and extremely misguided, you have to be, pretty much at this point, to be fighting on the Russian side. So people all over the world, not just in the United Kingdom, please stay informed. Please listen. Please pay attention to solid sources of information. Do not listen to Russian propaganda, because this is what happens. Another day, another drone appearance. This one appears to be connected on the attempted attack on Leipzig airport. The drone was discovered just to the west of the airport, along with military explosives. So this would have been, had it not been discovered, this would have been a very big problem indeed, because Leipzig is a big airport that is a large cargo and military logistics hub. It is used by NATO to siphon things to Ukraine. There are several of them like that through Europe, including Germany and Poland. And Sweden's military is moving to seize Russian-owned land near the Moscow naval base in the Stockholm archipelago because they're perceiving Russia currently as a greater threat due to the repeated airspace violations. Significant. More to come.